Should we do this Taibbi thing on Joe Rogan?
Oh yeah, let's watch a formerly respected person disgrace himself.
Fun for the whole family. Here's Matt Taibbi on Joe Rogan. He's on there fairly regularly these days, right? Um, Second appearance in how long? What? Or of all time?
I have no idea.
It was
Yeah.
the second appearance of at least the last few months because we watched another one recently. I
Right.
just don't remember exactly when, but it was like within the last 3 months.
Okay, gotcha. So, he's back on Rogan, and he has an interesting take, to say the least, on when certain right-wing figures are criticized. He calls them the Hitler of the month. Fascinating. Let's
The Hitler
watch.
of the Month Club.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Shuffle somebody into the Hitler of the Month Club
Yes.
routine, right? Like, we've always done this with foreigners, whether it's Noriega or Saddam Hussein or Milosevic or Assad or whatever it is. Like, we have a playbook for cranking out negative information about foreigners who get in our way for whatever reason. But now we've kind of refined that technique for domestic people who
This is so
are
stupid.
inconvenient. I think they did it with Trump, obviously. They try to do it with Tucker Carlson, with you. I mean, you got a taste of that for a few times.
Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Right. And then, with Elon,
guy's such
he
a
went from
coward.
being the guy who made electric cars sexy to, like, something to the right of Victor Orban.
Pause it for a
like,
sec. I
Who
mean,
there? By
you
the way,
can't
they're
talk-
all. I just want to. It's interesting he mentions Orban before anybody else gets in, because I also see like a whole bunch of people freaking out like that the U.S. is going to try to coup Orban, and I'll just say I don't think the U.S. should be cooing people, but I will say like Orban. I'm not coming to Orban's defense.
yeah. I mean, and I don't think that is going to. I mean, historically, the United States has not been orchestrating coups on right-wing.
I'll stand up
fascist
for
leaders.
left wing. Yeah.
They've been doing it the other way around. So that's a really disingenuous argument, laundering his cachet from the Bush administration era, especially when he brings up Saddam Hussein there, to claim that the United States is building up of Saddam Hussein as this evil figure as a pretext for our invasion of Iraq is equivalent to domestic cancel culture when it comes to Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I'll just say like these figures, the president of the United States, leading right-wing propagandist, and a sort of corporate plant, presenting himself as sort of like the independent guide to the underworld, or like wrestling and drugs and curiosity with Joe Rogan. Like these are all people who like are frankly worthy of intense criticism, and that's really what this is about. Like this is like, oh, don't criticize the richest man in the world. But sorry, I want to pull up something else. This is a lie, and I want to go back a little bit and watch Taibbi do this lie again, because he knows that it's not a new thing, a new culture war sort of fad that the left is all of a sudden taking issue with Elon Musk. I'll point this out with we had Matt Taibbi on the Michael Brooks show back in July of 2018, where we put, I guess, is this us putting Elon in the Hitler of the Month club? And Matt Taibbi saying about to go on with TMBS, who is tearing Elon Musk a new one right now. Now,
Ooh, good find.
I'd be curious if like why Matt's energy has entirely changed when it comes to Elon Musk. And I'd say like it's because he's bought.
Oh, well, but I thought he was also his source.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's fascinating to me, right? We can keep going, but the disingenuousness of the conflation between domestic criticism of right wing, the president, Trump he lists, and media figures is dangerous for many reasons. One of it being that it whitewashes the propaganda campaign and lies that we built up carefully for decades as a pretext for our illegal invasion of Iraq. And I don't know. I mean, that was a one of the most evil things that our country has ever done. What's the natural conclusion of critique of Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan? Anything equivalent to that? Because if you're going to use that example, you better be sure that the stakes are just as high.
I just think it's a shame that you can no longer spread stereotypes about Jewish people without being called anti-Semitic. You know, you used to just be able to say that Jewish people love money and no one would be like, he's like Hitler. They would just be like, that's true. But now people are like, that's Hitler adjacent because it's anti-Semitic. And, you know, I think it's a change that we as a society need to roll back, obviously, because that used to just be a tentpole of a stand-up comedy, right? Some point, I guess. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah.
I assume.
Society's gone way too far. All right,
It's funny though.
You know, I want to see, like, there's this TikTok here, and like I have issues with Destiny, but he had Leighton Woodhouse on, another guy who's been brought in to do this. How can I share this to Slack? And they're shit. I just want. It's fill time, but I don't want to move on from this. Like, I got to share this.
Well,
to Slack.
let's start from the beginning of this clip because we kind of interjected, and I want people to grasp the fullness of this idiocy.
Shuffle somebody into the Hitler of the Month Club routine, right? Like, you know, we've always done this with foreigners, you know, whether it's Noriega or Saddam Hussein or Milosevic or Assad or whatever it is. Like, we have a playbook for cranking out negative information about, you know, foreigners who get in our way for whatever reason. But now we've kind of refined that technique for domestic people who are inconvenient. You know, I think they did it with Trump, obviously. You know, they try to do it with Tucker Carlson, with you. You know, I mean, you got a taste of that for a few times.
Yeah, it's interesting,
right? And then you know, with Elon, he went from being the guy who made electric cars sexy to, like, stupid, you know, baby brain. Something to the right of Viktor Orban in like 10 seconds. It's amazing.
It is amazing, and the narrative is spread through progressive people. Well, they'll just say it now. It's like they've reached the memo. The memo's got to them, and then I hear people in LA. I hear people that I know, like, oh, Elon's just so crazy. It's like something happened to him. He went nuts, and he's a right winger now. Like, how? What are you saying? Like, what examples do you have? Like, they don't have an example. They just have this narrative that reaches all signal. Like, Elon bad now. Oh, right. Elon bad now. Elon bad now.
All right. Well,
and they just start.
He was just sitting next to, you know, hey, it's just association, but Jared Kushner, Rupert Murdoch.
Republicans for the midterms.
He said vote for Republicans. He said vote for. I would support Ron DeSantis.
Yeah, let's remove it out of the partisan.
At any point in any of these.
Let's remove this out of the partisan realm, though. Because that's ultimately like where Taibbi and Greenwald, this is Democrat versus Republican, when they're protecting capitalists like Elon Musk. February 16, 2023, Tesla just terminated dozens in response to new union campaign, complaint alleges. Tesla Autopilot workers announced their union campaign Tuesday, filing accuses Tesla of retaliation for union activity. That's not a left-winger. And anybody doing cover for this motherfucker over cultural bullshit, and I include like Twitter moderation for that, like is a capitalist plant. Is doing work for these guys. But we have this. Go ahead.
We're not even talking about recent, though, the criticisms over Musk. I mean, I remember.
Of course not.
Back in 2018, I mean, you mentioned the Taibbi on the Mega Brooks show, but specifically Musk in 2018, the criticisms and the critiques from critics was coming out. So, and he was getting so sick and tired of it because that's who he is. He can't handle this stuff. That he started floating the idea of creating his own media outlet again in 2018, specifically just to defend him and his companies. And he specifically brought up this outlet called the Knife of Aristotle as like a great example, like an influence to that sort of model of running an outlet. And it came out not long after he said that the Knife of Aristotle, I mean, I think it was actually known at the time too when he did say that, the Knife of Aristotle was the cult Nexium's outlet in order for like their PR outlet in order for them to try to navigate the public opinion on their little cult. And Nexium, as we know, is being defended by right-wingers to this day for some reason. James
joined it,
groomers.
Yeah. I mean...
Go ahead, Brandon.
It's just ridiculous.
The only thing I said, I shared one of my favorite stills from the Tucker Carlson show with Bradley on Twitter, and my favorite one, because I love how they just like slide Tucker Carlson in, and this still is from, I don't know if you can share it to the thing, to the page, but it's one of my favorite ways in which Tucker Carlson does not belong on the Hitler of the Month Club.
Okay, while Bradley gets that up, let me just say we just headlined this morning that Elon Musk and Tesla has fired dozens of Tesla employees in Buffalo the day after they chose to organize, to unionize. So the critiques of him are not some artificial way to make him Noriega and Saddam Hussein as a pretext to some sort of military invasion. Or coup. Yeah. It's just standard
people train their hate
principles.
In the correct directions.
Right.
I mean, we got this clip here, Bradley, if you could put this up. This is Destiny debating, I think, Leighton Woodhouse, and I'm not sure who else is here. And I can't, but like, I used to follow Leighton Woodhouse, and I'll say, like, I can't believe this is his response to, like, the questions over the way that this stuff has been released. So,
all right, and then we'll put up Brandon's thing, too.
Was any,
and yeah, I mean, the question as to like whether like that guy's gonna lie, but I think that the other underlying stuff here is important.
At any point in any of these Twitter threads, was anybody from the FBI contacted and asked for comment?
I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know. It feels like what you're saying is that what we reported was therefore a puff piece for Twitter, and that we were just doing Elon Musk's PR for him.
Yes, that's what I think.
Yeah, I find that like wild and also offensive. Like, do you think we have no integrity?
Okay, no, I'm trying to be polite, okay? If I was a journalist and I was tasked with doing something like this, I'm never in my entire life going to write a story about a company based solely on the information the company gives me. Full stop. I am never going into Exxon's offices, having one of their engineers show me what they've done, and then publishing a story on Exxon's platform released on their website about Exxon. I would never do that. That's called PR. I mean, obviously. I don't do PR for people. If I was a journalist...
Would you not do a story on the CIA based on records from the CIA?
Absolutely not. You would corroborate. You would investigate.
So you're right. I wish I had done that.
At any point
right, like that question, you think we have no integrity, bro? I don't know who the fuck you are. Like, why does anybody like? Well, that's some New York Times reporter like covering for like weapons of mass destruction could say the exact same thing. Like,
and they do that.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's the classic excuse from like reporters or pundits ahead of when they're exposed for being, corrupt or whatever. Like, oh,
Judith
if you
Miller.
question, if you question the integrity of my reporting, you're questioning the free press itself, not, access journalism, not, corporate press. You're questioning the very integrity of free press. And, that's just a type of being rude that we don't allow for within our professional spaces, like questioning not just the integrity, but are you smart enough for this? Like, are you good enough at this to be doing it? Like, it's not, I'm not even to speak to this particular person, but like a lot of the issue with our pundits is that they don't know anything. And then when they get mad when you say that just didn't happen in the year you said it happened in, and they get like flustered by it. And they switch from like, are you saying I have no integrity to, okay, well, I'm just an everyman average person trying to do trying to do my job. You can't fire everyone who gets it wrong. And it's like, yeah, I know no one likes accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All these people want is they just want to be at the New York Times. Like Taibbi wants his dad's life where he gets to like a job at the major networks. And they hate that people criticize this and question this stuff. That's just a childish, like, you don't think we have integrity? Like, people used to think like Taibbi and Greenwald had integrity, and their work basically like that's the only way that he can defend himself from the way that this stuff is being released on the platform itself, dictated by the owner of this, is, don't you trust us? I mean, what more do you need to know that there's nothing else there?
Go ahead.
I also, based on how Elon Musk has run Twitter since he's taken over, how like badly it's done, I don't trust him to know what's important either. It's like this all involves a lot of trust about the expertise of the people involved. I didn't realize they were still doing Twitter files, to be honest, because the first few were kind of boring to me because I was like, yeah, I know that this is a corrupt website meant to make money, not like a place for you to promote your work for free, like duh. But like, I think people are really still taken by them. But at the end of the day, like just the way Twitter is being run casts doubt on the sourcing of this stuff.
I mean, Elon is like a politically motivated free capitalist. Like the idea that Matt Taibbi goes on Joe Rogan show and he's just motivated to expose the truth. Like that is simp shit. That is absolutely debased, servile garbage. And I look, Leighton Woodhouse and all these other folks that get roped in on this stuff. They want to put their what people had of integrity, thought of their integrity on the line for that. Good luck.
I just also want to point out that the Working Families Party just tweeted out about 5 minutes ago that the United Tesla Twitter account, which is the organizing account for Tesla workers, is now currently unsearchable. You have to go to it manually yourself on Twitter. So, like, these are just some of the actually genuine critiques. And when you drill into the substance of
I'm
it...
offended. You would think I wouldn't care about that. I'm wildly offended. Like,
I remember
clutch
when...
your pearls, Leighton. Oh, my God, bro.
Just like...
But like, just real quick, like when you lay out the substance of what the critiques are of someone like Elon Musk or of Trump or of Rogan's disinformation campaigns and anti-trans stuff, you make it a little bit more explicit. It makes the hysterical nature of the claim that this is akin to smear campaigns in order to invade and steal oil and kill hundreds of thousands of civilians makes it look a little bit silly. And Taibbi is such a coward that he's unable to really talk about those stakes with any clear-eyed vision. And that's why he goes to his safe space where they can, smoke cigars at the Hitler of the Month Club.
He's captured by the audience. Like Taibbi will not say all that pussyfooting around and they say he's a funny guy and he just wants to expose the truth. Like, I mean, that is just him servicing the audience that he's going to try to make money from for the rest of his career. That's as simple as it is. And he will not have the courage to do any. Like, even Barry Weiss, more courageous person than Matt Taibbi with her little trolling about, I'm not sure if this is what I signed up for.
Well, that's the thing. Elon Musk is notorious for not telling the truth. He lies about Twitter all the time. Just in last year, like in December, he was saying that he had to delete that guy's account. It's the website. The plane tracking account because his kid almost got kidnapped, only for that to turn out to just not have happened. At least not in any way that resembled the story he told. And, everyone just ended up burying it and forgetting that had been a whole thing that he said, that his kid had been almost exfiltrated by commandos only for it not to have happened. And it's when you have enough money, you can just demand that people treat every statement that you make as though in the moment it has to be true. And then when it turns out to be false, you can just go oh yeah, let's just forget that I ever said anything like that. Let's forget that I was making administrative decisions on Twitter based on petty grievances and then lying about crimes to cover my own ass 3 months ago.
Yeah, we have that image if you want it, Brandon.
Oh yeah, no, it's one of my favorite Tucker Carlson images.
Gypsies coming to America. Gypsy controversy hits Pennsylvania town. Now, what's funny about that image is there's one time Greenwald got cornered about hey, is there anything racist Tucker has done? And he's yeah, that one time he did the gypsies thing. I can't really.
Oh, really? Wow.
That was one instance he could name, and apparently that was the exception. Another thing while we're talking about Cardis, sorry, but
not the monkeys comment about Iraqis.
Greenwald got on this really righteous thing about how Matt Gaetz was unfairly treated and prejudged in the media, and that it's bad to do that because that happened to Lula. How about talk to fucking Tucker Carlson about calling Lula a criminal when you're on there just sitting there as you prepare to go out to dinner in fucking Sao Paulo, all this stuff, I'm so angry about it because all these people Taibbi, Greenwald, and I imagine all the the hangers on minor folks, this is all a bullshit op working for capitalists.
I appreciate the anger.